My family and I are involved in a battle here in Nashville over in Burton Hills, which is the site of the Battle of Nashville, which occurred 150 years ago. We're actually an anniversary of that. The 150th anniversary began on December 15th, 1864. But we're in a present day battle, and it's with Covenant Presbyterian Church, which is located on Redbud Hill on the old Burton farm where they had the hospital for the Union soldiers. I was a member at Covenant from 1992, got married, met my wife there on the back row, got engaged in the church on the back row, actually put the wedding ring, taped it into the hymnal. Fortunately, she said yes. Had both my children baptized there and served as an officer in the church and took my vows seriously. Covenant and the PCA are taking out retribution on me for asking questions about the welfare of children. A man's children were taken from him basically without his approval or consent, and they were placed in a safe house. And I didn't feel like that followed the rules of the Book of Church Order, and I asked questions, and people didn't really appreciate questions being asked in the PCA. And they used the heavy hand against you, and so I was kind of the man out. Come to find out later on that there had been a child molestation at the house where the children were placed, and the father was never informed and never told, and it was right about the time when I was continuing to ask questions that the church leaders were finding out about what had happened. They were 9 months away from opening up their front doors on a big building campaign in the new Gothic sanctuary they'd built up there. And so a business decision was made by the people that run the church. I was bad for business. Covenant covered up a child molestation, and they used hysteria, bulletproof vest on the pastors under their black preaching robes, a secret security unit, dispatched the Metro Police to my private property at nighttime and threatened me with arrest and told me if I ever spoke to anybody, it was a Covenant member ever again, if I ever stepped foot on the property, I'd be arrested. Personally offends me as an American. It's un-American. It's un-American activity by the Presbyterian Church in America. I'm up against some enormous forces. Covenant's a very prominent church here in town. A lot of good people go there, but its leadership has been pretty hard-nosed, and they fight tough. And they're part of the Presbyterian Church in America, which goes back down to where it was formed in Birmingham, Alabama in 1973 after all the civil rights action occurred in the 60s down in Birmingham. And so it's a tough opponent. But the church up there has about 2,000 members, and we're engaged in 4 lawsuits, or 3 lawsuits. There are 4 that are related to the whole thing. And one of our cases is presently before the Tennessee Supreme Court. I'm a coach. I've been a youth coach for 30 years. I care about kids. So I kept asking questions about them. And then 4 years later, I guess, when they found out that, or I guess it's 6 at that point in time, when the church was finding out that a child has been molested in that house, right around the same time that these other children being placed in it, they didn't want me asking questions, and so they went nuclear and used the police on me and the harassment law to stop me from being able to legally speak to anybody. And so I wrote a letter to the pastor, or not to the pastor, but to the Commonwealth, the people. The pastor and others got copies of it, and asked them to basically come clean on what was going on in there from the pulpit, to get up and declare whether I'm off here lying or whether somebody else is lying, or if you don't know, we're going to investigate. And so when we went to church that Sunday, my wife and my 2 young children got out of the car and walked up to the front door on a Sunday on June 29th of the week of the 4th of July. I got a group of men I've never met in my life before waiting up at the front door yelling my name out, "Are you Austin Davis?" and then telling me I can't come into a public Sunday worship service that's pretty common all over America, that people go in all the time into church without having people waiting at the front door to block them. And they had no lawful authority to do it. Freedom of speech and freedom of worship are the bedrock of the Bill of Rights. And the Bill of Rights is for citizens, individual citizens. It's not for the government, it's not for the church. Matter of fact, the founders didn't want them having that kind of power. They have merged here. And so the Presbyterian Church of America, Covenant, the use of police to come to my private property and my private home, to have people dispatched at night on July the 2nd, 2008, to come and tell me that if I speak to anybody or if I ever step foot on a property again, I'm going to immediately be arrested. It violates everything that's American. Covenant leadership used the Metro Police and reported me to the Metro Police falsely that I was a security threat. And after the police were used on me and came to my home, they had a board meeting up there, and they had all the deacons and all the elders and everybody in it. And the Metro Police actually came on the church property to a board meeting to give them a briefing on me with a mental health expert, a lawyer here in town, and the pastor. And so what you have in Nashville, and I'm telling you, this, as far as I know, it's never happened anywhere up to this point in time, probably in the history of the United States. It has happened now, I think, down in Dallas, something similar, where police are being used and dispatched. But you got this marriage of church and state coming in. All of this was to conceal a child molester who the church has basically released and said he was unrepentant of his sin, unrepentant, and never reported it, and then they released him back out into the Nashville neighborhood where other children are. I think a lot of Americans are really patriotic. I'm patriotic. I don't go around and like wear a bunch of flags on me or anything. And I think there are a lot of people, I think a lot of average guys out here going to work, all over, it doesn't matter about who they are. They get up, they go to work, they're trying to provide for their family, and they're trying to have a life. They just want to be left alone. They just want some freedom. And I just think there are a lot of us that are patriotic in that sense. We love America. People are coming to America from everywhere. They're fighting to get here. They want to breathe the air. They want to breathe freedom. And so I'm unashamed about that. I'm not going to go around and like broadcast it, maybe on the 4th of July or something. We all gather together and do things. But when they come to your door and they're there in your face, it arouses something that in you. And so I'm not ashamed to be an American. I'm not ashamed to be patriotic. And my father and my uncle both fought in Korea. They went over there because they believed in America. And my father fought so I didn't have to go. And so he wanted me to have the First Amendment, I'm sure, by doing it. He risked his life over there so I could have it. I love the Emma Lazarus quote inscribed on the Statue of Liberty. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. The wicked refuse of your teeming shore. Send them, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Some things are hard to put in words, patriotism, your feelings for your country, where we are right now. Every day is a new day. You never guaranteed a future with a country. And I love America, and I want my children to have an America I grew up with. I grew up watching It's a Wonderful Life and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Those are all big influences on me as a kid growing up. Andy Griffith, It's a different time and era.
Especially
I know that there are a lot of people like me. I know I'm just an average person out here. There are lots of average people that are just going through their lives and doing things, but they don't know what to do sometimes. They don't know what to do. One of my favorite movies in my life is Shenandoah. It was my dad's favorite movie. He used to quote it all the time. He had his little farm. He just wanted to be peaceful. He just was there with his family. And then the war, and he didn't want to get involved in the war. His sons wanted to go volunteer. He's been to war. He didn't want any of us to go. He knew how bad it was. But in that movie, the war came to Jimmy Stewart's front door. And when it did, they had to respond. And so I think there are lots of people like me. And if the war came to their front door, if the boots come to their front door, it would arouse something. A lot of people don't understand me. They go, what bothers him? Why is he doing this? And it's because I'm speaking out. This is America. It's a free place. And my God, a church is the freest place that they're supposed to be. If we lose the churches, and if churches start doing this kind of stuff, you can hang America up. It's over. We have people coming to this country, walking to this country, risking their lives to come to this country, who are willing to wait tables, do all the nasty jobs, take out the trash, cut the yard, lay brick. They're helping build the country. And they're coming here because they want to breathe in freedom. That's what draws people to America. And that's a complex issue. But if they're coming to an America where the church and the state are using the police to crush people and take away their First Amendment rights, what are they coming to? What kind of country are they coming to? They're running from tyranny or things they don't like where they come from because they want to be able to speak. And I've got friends. I got a friend of mine from Ethiopia, and he says, America's a place where you can come and speak. You can speak against the leader. You can say whatever you want to say. Well, the canary's dying down in the mine, and I'm the canary.